Yeah.
Were you ever worried that that Nick could shine poorly on your career or something like that?
No, that never crossed my mind. I mean, you know, he's my son. I love him. It doesn't matter. He's more important.
After Rob Reiner and his wife passed away, everyone expected peace to finally settle in, but instead, their final will dropped like a bomb. What should have been a moment of closure exploded into chaos, sparking outrage, confusion, and a storm of accusations that shook Hollywood to its core. Right in the middle of the mess came a twist no one saw coming. Their son, Nick Reiner, long known as the wild card of the family, unpredictable and unstable, was named the biggest beneficiary. The number? Nearly $200 million. Insiders say the decision came from deep concern about Nick's future and whether he could ever live independently, but that excuse only made the story look even stranger. That's when the whispers started flying. Under California law, anyone who's found responsible for seriously harming a parent isn't allowed to inherit a single dollar from them. But legal experts quietly hinted that Nick's case sat in a legal gray zone. He had an official mental health diagnosis, and that, they said, could twist the law in unpredictable ways. Pretty soon, people started asking the questions no one wanted to say out loud. Did Nick already know what was written in that will? And if he did, could that knowledge have pushed him to do something no one saw coming? These weren't accusations yet, just questions, but once they hit the public, there was no taking them back. The rest of the family wasn't about to sit quiet either. Roy and Jake jumped into action, filing legal papers, hiring top lawyers, and going straight for a fight. They didn't just challenge Nick's massive share, they even questioned the portion meant for Tracy, the adopted daughter. They went after the entire structure of the inheritance itself. The result? A total family meltdown, a legal war that turned private grief into a Hollywood spectacle. Years ago, Rob Reiner told his closest friends, "My children are my bloodline. I've never loved anyone more." Those words now echo like heartbreak through the chaos because the same children he adored are tearing each other apart in a vicious legal war driven by money, fear, and pure resentment. Then came the moment that stopped Hollywood cold. On December 14, 2025, police rushed to Rob Reiner's Brentwood mansion, and within hours, breaking news hit every major network. Nick Reiner had been taken into custody in connection with what happened inside that house. The film world was left stunned, jaws dropping across studios and red carpets. Overnight, the headlines shifted to one burning question: who would inherit the Reiner fortune now? A state attorney stepped forward to explain California's infamous Slayer statute, a law designed to make sure no one accused of intentionally harming a parent could ever profit from it. If the court upheld the accusations, Nick would legally be treated as if he never existed in the will at all. In that case, every dollar, all $200 million, would be redistributed among the other siblings. And that's exactly what made this story so explosive. But here's the part that left even top lawyers shocked. The Slayer statute doesn't need a criminal conviction to kick in. A civil court could still enforce it if they believed there was just a 50% chance Nick intentionally caused harm. That lower bar sent panic and disbelief through the public. Half the country couldn't believe how fast everything could flip. But the twist that came next, it turned everything upside down. Legal analyst Weiss Barr revealed that the Slayer statute only applies if intent can be clearly proven. If Nick's attorneys managed to convince the court he wasn't mentally competent during the incident, that he didn't truly understand his actions, the entire law could crumble in his favor. Just like that, the case went from tragic to utterly unpredictable, and everyone in Hollywood wanted to know, could Nick actually walk away with it all? And if that happens, the doors to Rob Reiner's fortune swing wide open. That means a court could legally rule that Nick still gets every single dollar, and that possibility sent Hollywood into total meltdown. The reaction wasn't quiet frustration, it was full-blown fury. People weren't just shocked, they were furious. Everyone started asking the same question: how can justice exist when legal loopholes seem to hold all the power? But the outrage didn't stop there. It was just getting started. What truly sent the whole situation into overdrive was the next bombshell: the leaked contents of Rob Reiner's final will. Without warning, the entire document appeared online, and what it revealed transformed heartbreak into national outrage overnight. Reports said the will had been written about 2 years before Rob and Michelle passed, and when it hit the internet, even his closest friends, longtime colleagues, and Hollywood insiders were blindsided. This wasn't some ordinary estate plan. It was a decision that flipped every expectation upside down. The biggest shocker? Rob Reiner had allegedly left an unbelievable 70% of his estimated $200 million fortune to Nick. That's roughly $140 million, going straight to the same son now tied to the family tragedy. And that wasn't all. Nick's inheritance reportedly included full control of copyrights to Rob's most legendary films under Castle Rock Entertainment. Titles like When Harry Met Sally, The Princess Bride, and A Few Good Men, plus ongoing royalties from Seinfeld. Every single one of those money-making rights was allegedly part of Nick's share. On top of that, he was said to inherit the family's Brentwood mansion, the same New England-style home valued between $10 and $13 million, the very place where everything fell apart. That detail hit like a punch to the gut. Some people close to Rob claim he made those choices out of fear, that he believed time was running out and wanted to protect the child he saw as most vulnerable. But others see it completely differently. They call it blind devotion, saying Rob's love for Nick clouded his judgment for years. Either way, one thing became crystal clear. This wasn't just a will, it was an emotional grenade waiting to explode. As for the rest of the estate, the split only deepened the family divide. Around 20%, roughly $40 million, reportedly went to Tracy, while the remaining 10% was split between Jake and Roy, leaving each with about $10 million. The imbalance was staggering, and it turned private family pain into one of the most talked about Hollywood scandals of the decade. That uneven split didn't just sting, it ripped open old scars and reignited years of buried resentment between the siblings. But there was still one last twist, a final handwritten note from Rob himself. It was short, raw, and loaded with emotion. And once it surfaced, it became the spark that sent this already fractured family straight into another firestorm. The note read, "I have always believed that each child has their own path, but Nick will need the opportunities I can give him." Those words cut straight to the heart. To everyone who saw it, the message painted a haunting image, a father who loved fiercely but worried endlessly, especially for the one son he feared wouldn't make it without his help. For years, Rob and Michelle had stood shoulder to shoulder with Nick through chaos after chaos, rehab stays that never lasted, career dreams that fell apart, long stretches where he couldn't seem to hold things together. There were moments when Nick had almost nothing, relying completely on his parents just to keep his life from collapsing. Those who knew the family say Rob's biggest fear wasn't about fame or money, it was about losing his son entirely. So when Rob sat down to write his will, he made what he believed was his final act as a father, leaving Nick the largest share of the fortune in hopes it would give him structure, security, and one last shot at redemption. In Rob's eyes, it wasn't favoritism, it was protection. But that same act of love, born from deep fear, ended up setting off one of Hollywood's most explosive family implosions ever. Love, loyalty, and legacy collided like a wrecking ball. Rob knew Nick was still wrestling with serious internal battles, and his last message was a desperate plea written between the lines. "I just want Nick to have a chance to get back on the right path so he doesn't repeat the mistakes." Those words hit everyone like a gut punch, raw proof that this controversial decision didn't come from greed or pride, it came from a father's last hope to save his son. As for Tracy Reiner, Rob's eldest daughter, she was left with about 20% of the estate, roughly $40 million. Reports say Rob believed Tracy already had a steady life, her own family, and solid footing, so his goal was to make sure she could live comfortably without ever feeling financial pressure. The rest, around 10% or $20 million, went to Romy and Jake, the siblings Rob felt were strong enough to thrive on their own. He'd once told them, "You're grown and can stand on your own, but I want everyone cared for in their own way." That line, now echoing through court filings and social media posts, paints the picture of a father trying to balance love with practicality. But that balance would soon explode into controversy. The Brentwood mansion Rob left to Nick wasn't just property, it was sacred ground for the family. It held birthdays, laughter, late-night movie marathons, arguments that ended in hugs, and every piece of their family history. Rob wanted that house to anchor Nick, to remind him of his roots and the people who loved him most. But when the will leaked, that beautiful intention was drowned in public outrage. Fans, critics, and Hollywood watchers all asked the same furious question: why would Rob leave 70% of everything, including legendary film rights and the family home, to the son now accused of being involved in his parents' tragedy? Social media erupted overnight. One post screamed, "How could he trust someone like that?" Another viral comment read, "This proves blind love destroys families." The internet turned grief into judgment in a matter of hours. Psychologists quickly jumped into the debate. Some experts claimed Rob had fallen.
Oh? Jake's fists tightened, knuckles white. "I don't get it either," he muttered, his voice low and heavy. "Yeah, Dad worried about Nick, but $140 million? And the house where it all happened? We get scraps." Roy's frustration exploded as he slammed the table. "And Tracy gets 20%? She's not even Michelle's biological daughter. Why does she get more than us?" The attorney, calm but firm, looked up and said, "Under California law, an adopted child has the same legal standing as a biological one. The only way to challenge that is to prove Rob wasn't of sound mind when he wrote the will, and that's almost impossible." Roy shook his head furiously, voice trembling. "No, not a dollar should go to Nick or Tracy. This belongs to us." Jake nodded in agreement, his tone cold and final. "Freeze the estate. We fight this to the end." With that, the legal war officially erupted. Behind closed doors, one insider whispered, "We can't let outsiders profit from this nightmare." But the storm was already spinning out of control, and just when the battle hit its breaking point, a new shock hit the headlines. A fresh name entered the chaos: Tracy Reiner herself. The moment she saw the filings and the accusations stacking up, she made her move. She wasn't about to let anyone strip away what she believed was rightfully hers. That single decision flipped a bitter inheritance fight into a full-blown family war. Tracy wasted no time assembling her own legal powerhouse, a team of elite attorneys ready to defend her 20% share with everything they had. Her stance was emotional but sharp. As the eldest child, she argued that she had been the glue holding the family together for years, the steady hand caring for her parents, soothing tension, and keeping the peace while everyone else fell apart. In her words, taking away her share wasn't just unfair, it was an insult to everything she had done for the family. What began as a dispute over money was now drenched in emotion, pride, and decades of buried pain, and the Reiners' fight for their father's legacy had officially gone nuclear. It felt like betrayal, fast and brutal. Within hours, Tracy made her move and hired David O. Tarter, one of Hollywood's most feared and respected inheritance lawyers. His response came like a lightning strike, direct, bold, and aggressive. Carter immediately sent a scorching legal notice to the attorneys representing Jake and Roy, making one thing crystal clear: if they kept attacking Tracy's share, she'd hit back with a countersuit the same day. His letter didn't hold back. It demanded the court uphold Rob's will exactly as written, except for Nick's portion, which Carter admitted could stay frozen while the investigation played out. But the message that truly set the tone came in one cold sentence: Tracy Reiner holds the same lawful rights as any biological heir. Any attempt to exclude her will be met with full legal resistance. Those words didn't just stay in the courtroom, they blew up across the internet overnight. What had started as a private family dispute now spiraled into a three-way Hollywood war. Nick's entire future was hanging by a thread. Jake and Roy were fighting for what they called justice, while Tracy stood her ground, ready to defend both her name and her share, no matter the cost. Court filings flew back and forth like wildfire. Law offices buzzed non-stop, flooded with reporters demanding quotes and updates. Journalists camped outside the Los Angeles courthouse waiting for the next twist in the Reiner family saga. Online, public opinion split in half, one side backing Jake and Roy for protecting their parents' legacy, and the other rallying behind Tracy, calling her the loyal daughter who held the family together when everything was falling apart. But under all the noise, one heartbreaking truth cut through. If Rob and Michelle could see what was happening, it would shatter them completely. Friends close to the couple said their greatest wish had always been unity, not division. Family first, always, Rob used to say. He wasn't just a man of words, he lived that way. Despite Hollywood fame and pressure, Rob was hands-on with his kids. He showed up for school issues, creative doubts, and emotional breakdowns. He'd always tell them, "Your parents will always be here, listening, helping, no matter what." That wasn't a speech, that was his daily truth. Rob and Michelle poured their love, time, and energy into every one of their children. And when it came to Nick, that love ran even deeper. Through every breakdown, relapse, and crisis, they stood beside him, refusing to give up, believing love could anchor him through the chaos. But now, that very family Rob had fought so hard to hold together was tearing itself apart in front of the world. Even Tracy, trapped in the middle of the legal storm, couldn't ignore the heartbreak. Through tears, she admitted to a reporter, "This fight goes against everything our parents ever taught us." Her words hit like a gut punch, proof that beneath all the money, lawyers, and media frenzy, what was really breaking wasn't just a will, it was the family Rob built on love. She could still hear his voice, soft but firm. Family comes first. Protect each other. Never let money destroy what truly matters. Rob Reiner had said those words again and again, and now they hang heavy over conference rooms filled with lawyers, signatures, and shouting matches. Every tense exchange echoes with that haunting reminder. This was never how Rob or Michelle wanted their legacy to end. But now, all eyes have turned to the one name everyone can't stop talking about, Nick Reiner. His calm, almost unnervingly steady demeanor has shocked the press and the public. Despite facing the most serious legal situation anyone could imagine, Nick has appeared composed, focused, and somehow completely prepared. Then came another bombshell. Nick had just hired Alan Jackson, one of Los Angeles' most feared and famously expensive defense attorneys. Jackson's client list reads like a Hollywood power roster, and his hourly rate? A jaw-dropping $2,000 an hour. Instantly, people across social media started asking the same question. How could Nick, a man with no steady income and years of instability, possibly afford a legal beast like that? Sources close to the case claim Nick's legal strategy is bold and brutally smart. His defense hinges entirely on mental health, not just as a response to the criminal allegations, but as a weapon to protect his inheritance rights too. If his argument sticks, even California's Slayer statute might not be able to block his 70% share, an empire worth around $140 million, complete with film rights, royalties, and the iconic Brentwood mansion itself. The shocking part? This strategy doesn't just aim to protect Nick's freedom, it could secure his fortune too. That overlap between justice and money has left everyone stunned, wondering whether the law could actually bend in his favor. And here's where the whispers turn downright chilling. Multiple insiders now believe Nick's defense plan wasn't some last-minute move. They claim it was calculated. According to them, Nick may have understood the legal loopholes long before any of this happened, using his mental health diagnosis not just for protection, but as a shield to safeguard both his future and his fortune. Whether that theory holds up or not, one thing is clear. This isn't just a courtroom battle anymore.
It's a high-stakes game of strategy, emotion, and legacy, and every move Nick makes now could rewrite the entire story of the Reiner family. If that's true, then this story takes a far darker turn, something way more calculated than anyone ever imagined. What once looked like pure chaos might actually have been preparation, a strategy built from fear, desperation, or maybe even greed. Investigators have reportedly traced early legal payments back to assets Nick secretly controlled, suggesting he may have been positioning himself financially long before the family tragedy hit. That revelation left people stunned. The thought that love, the law, and even personal vulnerability could be twisted into tools of self-protection has completely shaken public trust. Psychologists are split right down the middle. Some describe Nick as both damaged and dangerous, a man shaped by years of inner chaos and emotional instability. Others believe his choices show cold intent and frightening structure, proof that every move might have been planned, not impulsive. Now the line between illness and manipulation has blurred beyond recognition. Even top mental health experts can't agree where compassion ends and accountability begins, and that's exactly what makes this case so haunting. Meanwhile, as the legal storm rages on, attention has shifted back to Rob Reiner's legacy, the empire at the heart of it all. Rob's estimated $200 million fortune didn't fall from the sky. It was built brick by brick through relentless work and creative fire. From his breakout role on All in the Family, which earned him multiple Emmys, to his evolution into one of Hollywood's most respected directors, Rob's career defined generations of storytelling. He wasn't just successful, he was transformational. Rob co-founded Castle Rock Entertainment, the powerhouse behind timeless hits like The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, and A Few Good Men. Those projects didn't just make money, they helped shape Hollywood itself. Castle Rock became a gold standard for creative freedom and smart filmmaking, turning Rob from actor to industry titan. Even after he stepped away from directing full-time, the money never stopped. The royalties from his films and from cultural juggernauts like Seinfeld kept rolling in year after year. Rob's work didn't just earn him awards, it built an empire that outlived him. And now, that very empire, the product of decades of brilliance, passion, and legacy, has become the center of a courtroom war so twisted that even the people closest to him are struggling to tell whether it's justice being served or history being rewritten. But just when it seemed like the Reiner scandal couldn't possibly get any wilder, another revelation hit like a thunderclap. Court insiders leaked that investigators were quietly digging through a hidden trust fund, one that Rob may have set up years earlier under a private corporate name. This mysterious account, reportedly worth tens of millions of dollars, had never been mentioned in the original will, and now it's raising serious questions about who really controls the rest of Rob's wealth. Sources close to the estate claim the trust might hold unreported royalties, uncashed residuals, and ownership stakes tied to Castle Rock Entertainment's newer projects. Some analysts believe this fund could swing the entire legal case if proven to exist. If the trust is linked to Nick, it might mean he has access to far more money than anyone realized, money that could explain how he afforded his high-powered legal dream team. As whispers about the hidden vault spread, Hollywood was pure disbelief. One veteran producer told The Hollywood Ledger, "If that trust is real, this whole case flips. It means Nick's been 10 steps ahead of everyone." Another insider added, "Rob was smart with money, too smart to leave anything unprotected. If there's another fund, it changes everything." Meanwhile, social media lit up all over again. Some fans accused Nick of manipulating his father's estate for years, while others argued the discovery could prove Rob's real intentions, that he wanted to quietly ensure Nick's survival no matter what. Theories spread like wildfire, with some users even speculating that Michelle Reiner might have had her own sealed documents that could still surface. Law firms representing the siblings scrambled to react. Jake's attorney, Mark Jericho, filed an emergency motion demanding full access to Rob's financial archives, while Tracy's legal team pushed for an independent audit of all Castle Rock-related revenue. For the first time, all three sides found themselves chasing the same mystery, a hidden fund that might hold the key to everything. By late January 2026, courthouse reporters were calling it the Hollywood's most expensive family feud. Millions of legal fees had already been burned through, and still no one knew the full scope of the Reiner fortune. But behind every headline, one chilling question grew louder. Did Rob hide that trust to protect Nick or to protect the family from him? The answer could decide not only who inherits the Reiner empire, but also how history remembers one of Hollywood's most beloved figures. And as the legal walls close in, one thing is certain: this story is far from over. Then came the real estate, the part of Rob Reiner's legacy that truly showed how far he'd come. The Brentwood estate wasn't just a mansion, it was a living time capsule of the family's entire history. Bought in the early 90s, the property was a world of its own: sprawling gardens, quiet luxury, and walls that had witnessed laughter, arguments, movie nights, and countless milestones. It wasn't just valuable, it was priceless, easily worth tens of millions. It stood as both the crown jewel of Rob's success and the emotional heartbeat of the entire Reiner family. But that wasn't the only gem in Rob's empire. He also owned a Malibu colony beachfront home tucked inside one of California's most exclusive enclaves. That place wasn't just for show, it pulled in huge rental income year-round and quietly added another fortune to his already massive portfolio. Piece by piece, Rob hadn't just built wealth, he'd built protection, a fortress of financial security designed to keep his family safe, supported, and secure long after he was gone. Yet now, that same fortress has turned into a weapon, the very thing tearing them apart. What once symbolized love and success has become the battleground for heartbreak and betrayal. The Reiner story, once a Hollywood dream built on talent, loyalty, and deep family ties, has twisted into a cautionary tale about how quickly devotion can turn to destruction when money and grief collide. Was Rob's compassion his greatest strength, or his fatal flaw? Did his generosity open doors that should have stayed closed? Those haunting questions now hang in the air, echoing through the same Brentwood halls where everything began. A family built on love is now facing its hardest test yet, and whether they survive it will determine not just who gets the fortune, but what remains of the Reiner legacy itself. Into a dangerous pattern, always rescuing Nick instead of setting hard boundaries. One well-known therapist stated bluntly, "Love without limits can become destructive." That line hit headlines everywhere because it summed up the emotional disaster perfectly. As public opinion shifted, sympathy began pouring toward Jake and Romy. They had lived quiet lives, stayed far from drama, and never chased money, yet suddenly they were pulled into a headline-making scandal they never caused. The anger was loud, but underneath it all was heartbreak for Rob himself, a devoted father whose love might have blinded him to how heavy the consequences of his final choices would become. One viral post summed it up in a line that hit like a hammer: "Sometimes love without limits is more dangerous than hate." By the time the will was officially read on December 19, 2025, emotions were already boiling, but when the numbers became real, the fallout turned personal, fast. Jake Reiner was in Houston when an email from the estate office landed in his inbox right around noon. The moment he opened it, his stomach dropped. 70% for Nick? Just 5% for him and Romy? He stared at the screen in disbelief, whispering, "This can't be real. Dad promised he'd be fair." The shock didn't last long. Fury took over in seconds. Jake dropped everything, booked the next flight to Los Angeles, and was on the ground that same night, ready to fight. He went straight to Lyons & Associates, the high-end law firm the Reiner family had trusted for decades. Inside the sleek glass office, he stormed to the front desk and slammed his palm down, demanding, "I'm Jake Reiner. I need to see Theresa Lyons, now. This is about my father's will." Theresa Lyons, calm, composed, and famously sharp, led him into her private office. She had been expecting this. "Jake, I understand your pain. Your father wanted to protect Nick, but with these new charges, everything could change." Jake's voice cracked with anger as he shot back, "I don't care about Dad's reasons anymore. Nick took everything from us. I'm fighting back." Without hesitation, he grabbed a pen and signed the documents that would ignite a civil challenge against his brother. Lyons wasted no time pulling in Mark Jericho, a ruthless estate litigator known for winning messy Hollywood inheritance wars. Together, they built their case.
The will didn't reflect the new circumstances, and Nick's massive inheritance had to be frozen immediately until the investigation was resolved. The next morning, Jake and Romy sat across from their growing legal team, the table buried with folders, files, and steaming coffee cups. In the middle sat one thick binder labeled in red, Reiner Estate. Romy flipped open the pages and froze when he saw it printed in black and white, 70% to Nick. He looked up, eyes burning. The room went silent. The fight for their father's legacy had officially begun.
Her voice cracked as she spoke, tears threatening to spill. Why would Dad do this? Nick already destroyed everything, and now he gets it all?